Okay, 4-3, writing equations in point-slope form. So the last couple days we've been writing equations in what form? We've been writing equations in, slope-intercept form, right? And now we're going to write equations in point-slope form. So we're going to, before we had 1 point and the slope, or even 2 points, and we'd write an equation. Now we're going to use a different form of the line called point-slope form. You like that little curly Q? That was good, Mrs. Blackie. And then we're just going to talk about writing linear equations in general in all their different forms in this lesson. So we'll be going back and forth between slope-intercept, point-slope, and do you remember our third one? It was standard form. So we'll be working in all three of those forms of a linear equation. All right, so to write an equation in point-slope form, you can write an equation in point-slope form when you're given the coordinates of a known point and the slope of a line. And that form of the equation looks just like this. This is point-slope form right here. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So sometimes we only know 1 point. And you can still start with that 1 point and the slope and figure out point slope of the, you can switch that into slope intercept form, so then you could graph it if you would like. All right, let's try this. Write an equation in point slope form for the line that passes through 3, I got to get rid of this highlighter, sorry guys. Let's write an equation in point slope form of the line that passes through the point 3, negative 2. So here's our point. Here's the x-axis and the y-axis. Negative slope, right, and positive slope. And we have a point over 3 and down 2. We have the point 3 comma negative 2 to start with. And we also have the slope of 1 over 4. So our slope is 1 over 4, and we have a point 3 comma negative 2. So there's our x sub 1, and here's our y sub 1, okay? All right. And then we have to write it in point-slope form. And point-slope form of the line is y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So let's go ahead and make a commitment to memorize this form of the line, point-slope form, as opposed to write y equals mx plus b, which is slope-intercept. Okay, but we're going to use point-slope form today. That's what we're going to learn about. So we will substitute in the values that we have into this formula. Y, we know y sub 1 is a negative 2, so y minus a minus 2 equals m, we know to be 1 over 4. And x minus x sub 1 we know is 3. Now simplify that and we get y plus 2 equals 1 over 4 x minus 3. And now we have an equation in point-slope form. And what else do they ask us to do in this problem? They want us to graph it. So we've written it in point-slope form. We started with the slope, substituted in the numbers, and simplified. And that's all there is to that. And now we can graph this because we have a point and we have the slope. So starting at this point, we can go up 1 and over 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 1 and over 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can graph this line just from that single point and having the slope. And the name of this line would be y plus 2 equals 1/4 x minus 3. Easy enough? That's not too bad at all, is it, guys? It's almost so easy, it's scary. So here's one for you to try. Write an equation in point slope form for the line that passes through -2, 1, and it has a slope of 6. And then graph the equation. So you're going to write the equation, and then based on the slope and the given point, you're going to actually graph the equation. All right. Let's just summarize about all these different kinds of equations for a minute. If you're given the slope and the coordinates of either 1 or 2 points, you can write a linear equation. You can use, and this is just a refresher, so you can use, if you have a slope in 1 point, you can substitute the values of m, x, and y into the slope-intercept form of the line, right? If you are given 2 points, first, and no slope, then the first step is you have to find the slope. The second step is you have to choose one of the 2 points. Remember, we did this yesterday's lesson. You have to choose one of the 2 points and then write it in slope-intercept form. All right, so that's a reminder about how to do slope-intercept. Slope of the line doesn't change throughout the line. You know, it's always going to be the same. Is this one we're looking at, this line we're looking at right here, is that a positive or negative sloping line? It's a negative sloping line, right? Don't forget that. All right, and then finally, not finally, but next, come here, marker, go away. All right. Okay, let's write an equation in standard form. So we're going to write it, we're going to review how to write an equation that looks like this, which isn't review, but we're taking our point slope form, right? This is a point and the slope form of the line. And we're going, right, we have a point. Oh gosh, come on now, you'll do it. Okay, this is point slope form, and we're going to write it in standard form. Does anybody remember what standard form is? Well, just in case you don't, here it is for you. AX plus BY equals C. So we're going to change this equation into standard form. All right. So y minus 1 equals -2/3 x minus 5. And we want to get it into AX plus BY equals C form. And guys, on the quest, I did not count off if you had the Y before the X, but that is not correct standard form, and I will count off for it if we see it in the future. Okay, so pay attention that you're in standard form. The X goes before the Y. It's A, B, C. AX plus BY equals C. All right, so what would we have to do here to change this into standard form? Well, probably the first thing we'd have to do is to get rid of these fractions somehow, right? So there are a couple possibilities, but I'm thinking I'm just going to multiply by 3 and get rid of my fractions. If I multiply, change colors here, I'm going to multiply by 3 on both sides. All right? So 3 times -2/3, right? And we have 3 times y minus 1. Okay, first thing we'll do is multiply 3 times that, and we see that those guys cancel out, and all I have is -2x minus 5 over here. And on this side, I can distribute and get 3y minus 1. Everybody understand how I did that? Okay. Now I can distribute on the other side. 3y minus 1 equals -2 times x, and -2 times -5 would be plus 10. So I have 3y minus 1 equals -2x plus 10. Now let's combine what do we have to do? Let's combine our whole numbers. And we get 3y equals -2x plus 11. And now this guy, to be in standard form, has to be on the other side of the equation. So I'm going to go plus 2x plus 2x. Those will cancel out, and I get 11 over here, and I'll get 2x plus 3y equals 11. And now we are in standard form. Any questions on that? I multiply both sides of the equation by 3. And you can think of that as like that. All right? It's 3 times this whole thing. It's 3 times this times this. All right? Okay, let's try guided practice here at the bottom of the page. And I'll see you in a sec. Okay, to find the y-intercept of the equation, rewrite the equation in slope-intercept form. So here we have an equation in what kind of form? Point-slope form, right? Y plus 3 equals 3 halves x plus 1. Now we want it, they are asking us to write it in slope-intercept form. Okay, so we will have to distribute y plus 3 equals 3 halves x plus 3 over 2. All right, I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So that'll cancel it out, and I get y equals 3 halves x plus, what's 3 halves minus 3? Can anybody do this in their head? So it's 1½ minus 3 is also going to be 3 halves, right? Because that's negative 3 is the same as negative 6 over 2. And 3 halves plus negative 6 halves is negative 3 halves, right? You see what I'm saying here, guys? I probably should have done this in a different color for you. I'm converting negative 3 to 6 over 2. It'll be so this and this are the same number. I've just rewritten it so I have denominators so I can subtract my fractions. All right, try your practice problem here. So, excuse me, I'm sorry. So now are we in slope-intercept form? Yes. Here's the y-intercept, negative 3 over 2, and there's our slope. So we're in y equals mx plus b form, right? We're there. We finished that problem. All right. So being able to use linear equations in different forms will be helpful when you start studying geometry next year. Here we have a problem RSTU, the square RSTU, and they're asking us to write an equation in point-slope form for the line containing side TU. All right, so they want us to write an equation for the slope of this line TU. All right, so we're going to have to identify, we're going to have to first find the slope. So we're going to identify this point and we're going to identify that point. And those points are 4, 2 and the point 7, 5. All right? So our first step is we're going to have to find the slope in order to write a point slope form of the equation. So if you'll remember, m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So m is going to equal 5 minus 2 over 7 minus 4, which is 3 over 3, or a slope of 1. All right, so now we know the slope. Then we're going to have to find the y-intercept. So we'll pick either point. This is the homework from the other night. Let's pick the point 4, 2. Okay, that's the one we're going to use. And we're trying to find b. So here's x and here's y, right? Y equals mx plus b. And we're trying to find b. So y is 2 equals, the slope we know is 1, x plus, 1x. And x we know can be 4. So 1 times 4 plus b. We're solving for b. 2 equals 4 plus b minus 4 minus 4. We find out that the y-intercept is a negative 2. Now we can write the equation y equals 1x plus a negative 2. And we can simplify, so plus a negative 2, right? So we'll simplify that to y equals x minus 2. Oops, and there it is in slope-intercept form. All right. The other thing that they want us to do for this problem, we're going to have to extend the page, is write an equation in standard form for the same line. All right. So they're going to give us the original equation, y minus 2 equals 1 times x minus 4. They want us to write that in standard form. I already did that. Oh, not standard form, I beg your pardon. Okay, so we'll go from point slope form, and we get y minus 2 equals x minus 4. And we have to change that into standard form, so we're going to add 2 to both sides, right? And we get y equals x, we're going to, x minus 2, right? So we're in the same form we were here, but now we want to put that into standard form. So we'll move the x over here, minus x, and you find out that negative x plus y equals negative 2. And quite frankly, we could have gone from right here and done that, right? Move from slope-intercept form to standard form by moving that x over here. So here we are in standard form. I'm going to just label that SF. Here we are in slope-intercept form, SI. And why are we doing? So there you go with that. I'm not sure why they're having us do that twice. Let me look at my notes a minute. I think it's just saying either point that you use. We could have used this point in point slope form. This is point slope here. You could have used point slope form and used your other point, and you would still come out with negative x plus y equals negative 2 to be standard form of the equation. All right. Here are 2 practice problems for you. Write an equation in point slope form. Let's highlight these words for you. No, you're not going to let me do it. Well, let me try it with my laptop and see if it'll let me do it there. Okay, so we're going to write it in point slope form of the line. And you're going to look back at this picture we just had. And actually, let me do a quick copy. Let me go back one, and I will copy that so you have it right here on the same page, guys, because I know that makes it easier. So you're going to take this image. I'm going to copy it. Let me put it on that other page for you. Okay, there you go. There it is for you. Okay, so take this same image and write an equation in point slope form for the side ST, and then write it in standard form for the line that contains ST. All right, good luck with that, guys. And we'll go over these tomorrow in class and answer any questions you might have. Thank you.